Welcome to Midnight Signal AI. It's April 6th, 2026. I'm Alex, here with Jamie. Tonight, Google's new plan mode in Gemini CLI, Nvidia's monster $2 billion hardware play, Sam Altman's warning to CEOs, and why Elon Musk is tying banks to Grok subscriptions. We'll also talk about smarter AI agents, next-gen game dev tools, and the latest on AGI hype from Nvidia's Jensen Huang. Let's jump in.
Plenty to cover tonight. The Gemini CLI update is actually a pretty big deal for developers, so let's get into it.
First up, from the Google AI blog, Plan Mode is now live for the Gemini CLI. This is a read-only environment that lets AI analyze complex code bases and map out architectural changes, but crucially, it doesn't allow any accidental code execution. With new tools like Ask User and expanded support for the Model Context Protocol, developers can collaborate more safely and pull in external data before making any changes.
That's a huge step forward for AI-driven development. One of the main concerns with code assistants has been the risk of them running or modifying code unexpectedly. Plan Mode makes it possible to use AI for deep analysis and strategy, almost like having an AI architect, without worrying about it actually breaking something in the process.
Exactly. The Ask User tool means developers can have more back and forth with the AI before committing, and with richer protocol support, it's easier to bring in live data or feedback from teammates. This should streamline big refactorings or migrations. Google's clearly aiming to make the AI assistant a safer, more integrated part of the dev workflow.
And it's another indication of where AI tooling is headed, toward more collaborative, guardrailed environments. It's less about the AI doing everything for you, and more about AI helping you plan and double-check before you push any real changes. I think we'll see other platforms adopt similar modes soon.
Staying with Google, they also published a developer's guide to AI agent protocols. It's a suite of 6 protocols like MCP and A2A that standardize how AI agents access data and talk to each other. The blog uses a kitchen manager agent to show how these protocols can handle real-world tasks like inventory checks and secure payments, all without custom integration code.
This is big for AI interoperability. Right now, a lot of agent systems are still siloed, and everyone's reinventing the wheel for things like data access or payments. With standardized protocols, you can plug and play different agents and tools, less glue code, faster development, and potentially more secure interactions.
And it lowers the barrier for new agent-based applications. If your agents all speak the same language, whether it's for commerce, authentication, or messaging, you can build complex workflows by just connecting the dots. Google's Agent Development Kit should make prototyping these multi-agent systems much more accessible.
Speaking of smarter agents, Google also introduced a workflow for building a personal finance assistant. By combining LlamaParse for document extraction and Gemini 3.1 models for analysis and summarization, you can parse dense financial data and build an assistant that actually understands your unstructured paperwork.
Right, the workflow uses Gemini 3.1 Pro for parsing those tricky tables, and Gemini 3.1 Flash for fast, cost-effective summarization. It's all event-driven, so the assistant can process data as soon as it arrives. For developers, this means you can build tools that help users make sense of their finances without spending days wrangling PDFs or spreadsheets by hand.
And the LlamaParse integration is key here. Document extraction is still a pain point for a lot of AI apps, especially in finance and law. This approach could make personalized AI-powered financial advisors much more practical for individuals and small businesses alike.
On to another developer-focused update. Google's Jump to Play workflow shows how Gemini and MediaPipe can be combined to rapidly prototype motion-controlled games. Using Gemini Canvas for high-level prompts and MediaPipe's Pose Landmarker for real-time tracking, developers can build and refine new mechanics directly in Google AI Studio.
That's a great example of AI lowering the entry barrier for indie game devs. You can sketch out a whole gameplay mechanic with a prompt, then fine-tune it for responsiveness and stability. The workflow even uses Gemini Code Assist to refactor the final code. It's not just about speed, it's about making advanced features like motion controls accessible to more creators.
And by optimizing for low-latency light models, you actually get motion tracking that's responsive enough for real gameplay. This could open the door for a new wave of gesture-based games, especially on mobile and web platforms.
Switching gears, let's talk about closing the knowledge gap in AI agents. Google DeepMind rolled out a Gemini API developer skill that gives agents live documentation and SDK tips. In their evaluation, the Gemini 3.1 Pro preview model's task success rate jumped from about 28% to a whopping 97% when it had access to these live resources.
That's a massive leap, and it really highlights the limits of static model knowledge. By giving agents live hooks into documentation and dev tools, you get much more reliable and up-to-date answers. It's a lightweight approach, but the performance gains are anything but small.
And it's not just about programming help. This could generalize to all sorts of domains. Imagine agents that always have the latest medical protocols or legal statutes at their fingertips. It's a glimpse of how AI can stay relevant in fast-moving fields.
Now for some industry moves, starting with Nvidia. According to the Jerusalem Post, Nvidia is investing another $2 billion in an AI hardware giant. No surprise, Nvidia's been on a tear, and this kind of investment shows they're doubling down on owning the AI infrastructure layer.
Absolutely. Nvidia's dominance in AI chips is already well established, but this is about making sure they stay at the center of the hardware ecosystem as demand for AI capacity keeps skyrocketing. $2 billion is a statement of both confidence and urgency. They're not letting up even as competition heats up from custom silicon and startups.
And speaking of AI infrastructure, Sam Altman is in the news again. TickerNews.co reports that Altman is advising CEOs to secure their AI capacity now, warning that demand is likely to far outstrip supply in the near future. He's basically saying, lock in your compute or risk falling behind.
This isn't just FOMO, it's a real bottleneck. We've seen it with GPU shortages, cloud price spikes, and project delays. Altman's advice echoes what a lot of CTOs are already feeling. If you're not planning for scale now, you may miss the next wave of AI-driven growth. It also underscores why NVIDIA's hardware investments matter so much.
On the topic of AI supply and demand, let's talk about Elon Musk and xAI's IPO. Multiple outlets, including PyMTS.com, Business Standard, and Chosun Ilbo, are reporting that Musk wants the banks handling SpaceX's IPO to become subscribers to his xAI platform, Grok.
That's classic Musk, tying access to a hot deal with adoption of his own AI ecosystem. On one hand, it's a clever way to juice Grok's enterprise numbers. On the other, it raises questions about conflicts of interest and whether banks are being strong-armed into becoming customers just to participate in a lucrative IPO.
It's a reminder that in the AI gold rush, platform lock-in is a strategic weapon. If Musk can drive adoption of Grok among major financial players, it positions xAI as a serious contender to OpenAI, Google, and others in the enterprise market.
And it shows how tightly the AI and finance worlds are becoming intertwined. If major IPOs require an AI subscription, we could see a whole new set of incentives and tensions between tech and Wall Street.
On a related note, there's a story from WPLN News about a Tennessee bill involving Musk's xAI, pollution, and data centers. It's part of a growing debate on the environmental impact of massive AI infrastructure projects, especially as data center construction accelerates.
That's right. As AI demand grows, so does the energy footprint, sometimes outpacing local grids or raising concerns about water usage and emissions. The Tennessee bill is just one example, but it highlights how regulation is starting to catch up with the scale of AI infrastructure. Expect more clashes between tech, local governments, and environmental groups.
Before we wrap, one last headline. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang is making waves by claiming that AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, is already here. Outlets like AOL.com and Yahoo Finance are picking up the story, with analysts speculating on what this could mean for stocks and the broader tech landscape.
Wang's claim is definitely provocative. Whether you buy it or not, it's a sign of how fast the narrative around AI capabilities is moving. For investors, it's mostly a signal that Nvidia sees AI as a present, not future, driver of value. But for the rest of us, it's worth staying skeptical. AGI is still a moving target, and definitions vary wildly.
It's also a reminder that hype cycles can move markets, but real breakthroughs take time. Nvidia's vision is ambitious, but the practical impact of AGI, if we're even close, will depend on how these systems are deployed, regulated, and integrated into daily life.
A lot of noise, but also a lot of signal. And with that, we're out of time for tonight. You've been listening to Midnight Signal AI. Stay sharp. The future doesn't wait.